Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid. In Matthew chapter 14, we witness Jesus' compassion, power, and authority over the natural world. From feeding a massive crowd to walking on water, Jesus reveals his care for those who follow him and his divine nature in extraordinary ways. Welcome to Gospel Unlocked. We're continuing our series on Matthew's Gospel, unlocking insights from each chapter. Let's turn the key and uncover what Matthew 14 has to reveal. Matthew chapter 14 opens with the account of John the Baptist's death. Herod Antipas hears about Jesus' growing popularity and fears that John has come back to life. Herod had imprisoned John for condemning his marriage to Herodias, his brother's wife, and during a lavish birthday banquet, Herodias' daughter danced before him, pleasing him so much that he offered her anything she wanted. At her mother's urging, she asked for John's head on a platter. Though Herod was distressed, he kept his word and John was executed. This moment is a somber reminder of the cost of standing for the truth and the reality of opposition that followers of Jesus may face. John's faithfulness is a powerful example for us, even in the face of persecution. John's death also foreshadows the challenges and sacrifices that come with proclaiming God's message. This moment sets the stage for the life of courage and trust that Jesus calls us to. After hearing about John's death, Jesus withdraws to a solitary place, but the crowds follow him. Filled with compassion, he heals the sick and teaches them. As evening approaches, the disciples urge Jesus to send the crowd away to find food, but he responds, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." With only 5 loaves and 2 fish, Jesus looks up to heaven, gives thanks, breaks the loaves, and hands them to his disciples to distribute. Miraculously, everyone eats and is satisfied, with 12 baskets of leftovers collected afterwards. This feeding of the 5,000 is one of Jesus' most well-known miracles and demonstrates his abundant provision. The story reminds us that God can take whatever we offer, even if it seems small, and use it to meet the needs of many. His compassion and power go beyond human limitations. Jesus invites us to trust in his provision and bring what we have, no matter how little, so that he can use it in miraculous ways. After the miracle of feeding the crowd, Jesus sends his disciples ahead by boat while he goes up to a mountainside to pray. Late at night, as the disciples struggle against the strong winds and waves, they see Jesus walking toward them on the water. Terrified, they think, "He's a ghost." But Jesus immediately reassures them, saying, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." Peter responds, "Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water." Jesus invites Peter to come, and Peter steps out of the boat walking towards Jesus. But as he notices the wind and the waves, he becomes afraid and begins to sink, crying out, "Lord, save me!" Jesus reaches out, catches him, and says, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" When they climb into the boat, the wind dies down, and the disciples worship Jesus, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." This moment reveals Jesus' authority over nature and the power of faith when we keep our eyes on him. Peter's experience encourages us to trust Jesus even in life's storms. Though our faith may falter, Jesus is always there to reach out and lift us up. After crossing the lake, Jesus and his disciples arrive at Gennesaret, where people quickly recognize him. They bring their sick to him, begging just to touch the edge of his cloak, and all who touch it are healed. Jesus' compassion extends beyond words and teachings. It's visible in his willingness to meet people's needs and restore their health. This scene highlights the power and the compassion of Jesus' ministry as he meets people at their point of need and responds with healing. Jesus' actions in Gennesaret remind us that he sees and cares for each individual's needs. His presence brings hope and healing even in our brokenness. Matthew chapter 14 is filled with powerful demonstrations of Jesus' compassion, provision, and authority. From the feeding of the 5,000 to walking on water, Jesus shows us that He is both near to us in our needs and sovereign over all creation. Thank you for joining me on Gospel Unlocked, and I look forward to unlocking more of Matthew's Gospel with you as we continue this journey together.